When a person's able to sustain or maintain that modified state of mind and being, then the fun starts to happen, because you start seeing those synchronicities. You start seeing those coincidences, those opportunities, those unknowns, those things start falling out of nowhere because you are connected to that field of information. And not only are you connected to it, but you're also beginning to influence it. So then more and more people are creating now, and less people are experiencing the state of being called being a victim. So then if you're a victim, then you would say, I was angry because of traffic. Well, then I would say to you, well, you mean your outer world was controlling how you think and feel. Some circumstance, some person, something in your outer world is actually controlling your feelings and thoughts. That means you're a victim to those circumstances. But when you change the way you think and feel, and it starts to produce effects in your outer world, now you start to realize you're the creator of your life. And the moment you start seeing feedback in your life, you're going to pay attention to what you did, and you're going to do it again. And now you're going to believe now you're more of the creator of your life and less of the victim of your life. This is the beauty behind, as you said earlier, living in this day and age. I mean, more and more people are waking up. I mean, more and more people are really beginning to realize that nobody is so special to be excluded from this phenomenon. And we all have the same biology. We come with all the neurological and biological machinery to do this. And we all have done it. We've all said, what would it be like to have my own show? What would it be like to be wealthy, to be healthy, to be free, to be in a new relationship, to have a family, to have a mystical experience? And the moment we ask that question, we turn on the creative center in our brain, the frontal lobe. That's the boss, that's the CEO, that's the symphony leader. And it has connections to the entire brain. And one thing it wants to do is answer the question. So what does it do? It looks out into the landscape of the brain and see what's stored in there. Things we've learned intellectually and things we've experienced that's related to the question. And it begins to activate those circuits. The frontal lobe calls them up. And then those circuits start to fire in tandem. And when they start to resonate and fire in tandem, we get a picture in our mind. That's called intention. We're selecting a new potential in the quantum field. Now, the passionate person who's fully engaged in looking at that future, observing that future, the thought in their mind literally becomes the experience. Now, the end product of an experience is called an emotion. And all of a sudden, the person starts to feel the emotion of the event before it's made manifest. And now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So in a sense, they're changing their state of being. Now, the stronger the emotion that they feel, the more altered they are inside of them, the more they'll pay attention to the picture in their mind. And now they're creating a long-term memory. In other words, they're remembering their future. Now, you can't just do that once, then get up and expect your bank account to be filled. That's not how it works. Or you to be selected to go to the moon. That's not how it works. You have to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body, independent of any condition in your external environment, independent of the emotions or habits or hardwired attitudes that are subconscious programs that are stored in the body, and independent of time. And if you can, you will start to see those unusual events beginning to occur in your life. So then you become the scientist in your life. And so it takes training to teach people how to get beyond their past. And we know this because we've done enough workshops to know that the hardest part of a workshop that we do is the first day or two. Because people are coming, they're emotional, they've got problems, they've got a lot of questions, they're overly analytical, they're stuck, and we just keep coaxing them past their identity, and sooner or later they start letting go. And when they do, now they're ready to create. Well, most people like to wait for crisis or breakdown or trauma or disease or diagnosis to finally make up their mind to change. My message is, why wait? So you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. I like the latter, and more people are getting that. So I don't really care, because people come to our events for all kinds of reasons. They're suffering from a disease, they have a mental health problem, They want to be richer, they want to be happier, they want to have a new job, a new career, a new relationship, they want to have a mystical experience, or they just want to prove to themselves they're creators and they're already affluent and wealthy in their lives, or happy in their lives. They just want more. So knowledge is the precursor to experience.
Yep.
The more knowledge you have, the more prepared you are for an experience. So then, how do we get more people out of living in their past and living in their future? Well, think about the hormones of stress. When you are under stress and that sympathetic nervous system is switched on, you're going to narrow your focus on the cause, whatever it is. So then as you narrow your focus on matter, if it's a person, it's an object, it's a thing, it's an animal, it's a place, all of your attention is being directed towards something in your outer world, right? So then where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So the stronger the emotion you have to a problem in your life, or your ex, or a person, or your boss, or whatever, the more you're giving them your attention, which means where you place your attention is where you place your energy. You're giving your power away to that person, and that's available energy that you could be using to heal your body or design a new destiny. So then set a person down, because the change is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than all those conditions in your outer world, to be greater than your body, and to be greater than time. Sit them down and say to them, okay, you've been narrowing your focus on everything material, converging your attention. Let's do the opposite. Let's diverge your attention. Let's open your attention. Instead of focusing on matter, focus on nothing. Open your awareness to the field, to space. And if you open your awareness to the field and space, in the beginning it takes a little practice, but when you begin to sense space, you're no longer thinking or analyzing. And if you're not thinking or analyzing, you start to change your brain waves and slow them down. So then if you keep doing this, sooner or later, you're going to take your attention off your body. And you're going to go from somebody to nobody. You're going to take your attention off the people in your life. And as you lower the volume to those emotions, you're going to go from someone to no one. If you take your attention off your cell phone, your computer, your car, all the things in your life, you're going to go from something to nothing. If you take your attention off where you're sitting, or where you need to be, or where you need to go, you're going to go from somewhere to nowhere. And if you take your attention off time, linear time, you're going to go from some time to no time. And that is the moment you get beyond yourself. And that is when you are passing through the eye of the needle. That is the door to the quantum field. That is the nexus of the quantum. And you can't enter that quantum field as a somebody. You can only enter it as a nobody. So when a person begins to get beyond themselves, the only thing they're left as is pure consciousness. They're left as an awareness. Aware that they're aware in infinite space. Now, the quantum field is an invisible field of information that transcends time and space. In other words, there's no people there, there's no bodies, there's no things, there's no places, there isn't even time. So take away the earth, take away the moon, take away the stars, take away the light from the stars, take away the galaxies, take away everything material. And what are you left with? Just an infinite space of nothing physical. That is the quantum field. But just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So you can only experience that field with your awareness. Now, getting people to that elegant moment, we can only talk around. You have to practice doing it. And now I'm happy to say, after 6 years of laboring with people to get beyond themselves and to be able to slow their brainwaves down from that beta brainwave pattern, that high beta brainwave pattern, into alpha and theta, the whole purpose of meditation is to get beyond the analytical mind. And what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. So then, as people begin to slow down their brainwave patterns, they're actually entering the operating system, where all those hardwired attitudes and automatic habits and programs and emotional reactions and addictions exist. Now they can begin to make measurable changes. So then if you take a group of people and you work with them to get beyond themselves, there's going to be an enormous amount of chaos that's going to be created in the brain and the body, and they're going to want to quit, and they're going to give up, and they're going to get frustrated. But if I give them another opportunity, they're going to do it again. If I give them another opportunity, sooner or later, they're going to finally surrender. And when they do, they're going to connect to that field. And it's the most familiar, unfamiliar feeling you'll ever have. It's a level of coherence or order, because as you get closer and closer to that field as an awareness, you experience greater and greater degrees of oneness and wholeness and less separation. So if you feel less separate from your dreams, then you feel like you already have them. You're no longer in want or lack. You feel whole. And when you feel whole, you can't want because you feel like you have everything. And that is the perfect place to create from. And so we've worked, Michael, so hard in helping people to get to these points. And I'm so happy to say that when we're doing these week-long events now, I never, ever in my life thought I'd be witnessing what I'm witnessing in terms of changes in health and mystical experiences. And you can't tell me now you're too old to do this. You can't tell me that now. You can't tell me you're too sick to do this. You can't even tell me that, because I've seen all kinds of ages and all kinds of sick people really reverse some great serious health conditions. You can't tell me you had a turbulent past and you can't change, because I've seen some people with some really turbulent pasts get beyond it. I've seen people that were out of shape, overweight, underweight, vegetarians, carnivores. I've seen it happen in all different sizes, shapes, and people. And the beauty behind it is that it's inclusive, that